Andrew Jackson was one of the most important presidents in American history. He was known as the common man and someone who sponsored what's known as Jacksonian democracy. That meant that he brought more democracy to the people at this time. You need to know 4 very important things about Andrew Jackson. It spells out the word BITS, B-I-T-S. B, he vetoed the Bank of the United States. He thought that the recharter would only benefit foreigners who invested in the bank, as well as the wealthy. I, Indian removal. He supported the Indian Removal Act, which would bring Native Americans from the east to west of the Mississippi River. Even though John Marshall's case of Worcester versus Georgia said that Georgia could not forcibly take away land, Jackson stood by the policy of removing Native Americans. T, the Tariff of Abominations was passed in 1828. Jackson enforced it. Against the tariff was the Vice President, John C. Calhoun. He had written the South Carolina Exposition and Protest, and he suggested that the states should be able to declare that tariff null and void. In 1832, when South Carolina did declare it null and void, Jackson threatened a force bill. However, Henry Clay brought about some peace with a compromise tariff in 1833. S, the spoils system. Jackson was known for giving offices to his friends and his campaign supporters. There are certain things that happened after Jackson left office in 1837 that you need to know about. Because he vetoed the National Bank, the money was brought into pet banks, or banks loyal to Jackson. They loaned out a lot of money, which led to massive inflation. Jackson issued specie circular, which was supposed to bring down the inflation by saying you could only buy land in gold or silver. However, you still get the Panic of 1837 anyway, which destroyed the American economy. As far as the Indian removal is concerned, after Jackson left office, you have some 16,000 Cherokee who were brought from Georgia all the way to west of the Mississippi River. Many died in the process. This was known tragically as the Trail of Tears. During this time, Americans had a lot of sectionalism. This is when they had pride in their section of the country rather than the nation as a whole. The North was most industrial, whereas the South was agrarian and relied on slave labor. The West was the least populated. The North favored both the bank and the tariff, while the South was against both of those. Each part of the country had their own heroes. The North relied on Daniel Webster, the South, John C. Calhoun, and the West, Henry Clay.